I traveled the world on a bike, misspent my youth, and in Pocatello, Idaho, I had a blind old rancher tap a cane across me early morning at a red-green light, and he couldn't see me, so he felt me, and he said, Metal Cowboy. And he said, keep the wind at your back and find where the innocents sleep. And I was like, dude, that's heavy at 5:30 in the morning. But I took it to mean through all my adventures, you look for the best in people out there, and it's really what I found.
It is the Fit for Radio podcast. I'm your host, Drew Tiedemann, and we are where we always are, right here at the Stafford Hills Club. And if you haven't been here, this place is amazing, pristine. It also has that saltwater pool, which I've talked about this. It keeps my 10-year-old daughter from going nuts about tangled hair. I guess it's chlorine. Chlorine's the thing, so if you want to skip that, get in the saltwater. And remember, family memberships do fill up during the summer. The music's already popping out there. I wanted to go and just kind of marinate in the pool, but got work to do. Go to staffordhills.com to get yourself on board before you get waitlisted and have to watch from the sidelines. Super excited right now, though. A guest that I've been waiting to talk to. His name is Joe Kurmaskie. Kurmaskie, let me get it correct.
That's right.
And there's no N in that. Now,
but, so manly.
Yeah, well, it's hard when you're looking at those guns not to throw the N in there. He's also known as the Metal Cowboy. He's one of America's most legendary bicycle adventurers, authors, and cycling advocates. The guy has traveled via bike, and it's probably quite a bit more now, over 250,000 miles. 250,000 miles when I saw a speech that you had done, Joe. Now, not just that, though. It's not just riding a bike. He's also a best-selling author and columnist. He's been in publications like Bicycling, Men's Journal, Outside, Parenting, and Rolling Stone. So much more to add to that, but we can't sit here with acknowledging all the greatness all day long. He's an incredible guy on two wheels, but really what we're here to talk about today is his next adventure, which is Reborn Bikes, where they have gone to the next level, a nonprofit helping to refurbish and distribute bikes to people across Oregon who need transportation, freedom, and opportunity. Now, this is a very cool thing. Great to have you in studio, Joe.
Wonderful to be here, Drew.
And it's a great mission you guys have, but I kind of want to just take it back for a second for the people who don't follow you and your story.
Sure.
Now, they call you the Metal Cowboy.
I know. I look more like an aging surfer. There's no belt. There's no boots. There's no hat.
I absolutely love the title, and I had read up about it a little bit, but I would like you to kind of explain where that came from.
Well, I traveled the world on a bike, misspent my youth, and in Pocatello, Idaho, I had a blind old rancher tap a cane across me early morning at a red-green light, and he couldn't see me, so he felt me, and he said, Metal Cowboy. And he said, keep the wind at your back and the
sun on your face?
Yeah, it was, and find where the innocents sleep. And I was like, dude, that's heavy at 5:30 in the morning. But I took it to mean through all my adventures, you look for the best in people out there, and it's really what I found. And so I had these memoirs. I had all kinds of, I studied journalism and English, and I popped as a writer, and the rest is history. 25 years of writing for Rolling Stone and Men's Journal and Outside, and columnists across the nation and speaking gigs. All that's great, and had a lovely time with it and still do. But I got ill somewhere in my mid-40s with hemochromatosis. Tried to kill me, but I'm a Florida cockroach. I came bouncing back.
So for people who don't know what that is, what is that?
Iron overload. It's a Viking disorder. They call it the Irish curse because it seeded all of Europe. And what it does is at a certain point, it mutates in your, it's all there, and it mutates in your 40s and turns on the gene and starts storing iron beyond your daily allowance. And killed Patrick Swayze, Steve Jobs, Ernest Hemingway. It doesn't kill you. The end case presenting illnesses, liver, cirrhosis, liver disease.
To where the body can't fight it?
It's iron stiffening all your organs and tissues. And so if you remember, Patrick Swayze had that dark tan. He said he never really went into tanning booths or something. That was bronze diabetes, one of the ANCASE presenting illnesses.
Okay.
And so I got caught early enough, not early enough, but in time. And they fixed me, and I just get bled every 3 or 4 months.
So you get a little oil change? Is that how they do it?
I get what it is it draws down. You get blood starved, and you create new blood, and it sucks the iron out of the tissues and organs to oxygenate that blood. So it's real medieval, Drew.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. It's Viking.
That is very
and the
Viking.
Vikings had their blood sports to actually. They knew.
That's incredible. All that time ago.
And leeches, those were actually good for something. I mean, they don't leech me now.
Yeah.
At any rate, all that's to say that when I didn't die, I came back stronger, and I said, what are we going to do with the second half of our life? We've got all the books and the career and all that, but why don't we devote a strong amount of time to really seeing if we can make an impact? How many bikes can we flood the streets with safely? How much impact can we have? And we grew about 8 years ago at Washco Bikes that I took over from giving about 250 bikes away in Washington County to we gave 12,976 bikes away in 2025 across state of Oregon.
And doesn't that statistic, and we're going to back up a little in a second, but doesn't that statistic put you above at the top of those distributing bikes in that fashion?
We are I didn't realize it, but we're the largest low and free income distribution of refurbished bikes in the United States.
That right there is impressive.
And Working Bike Chicago, I wanted to make sure the founder actually lives out here half the year and works with us. In fact, I was just with him an hour ago, and he's like, no, you guys give more bikes than us. And he's with us giving them away. And he found us. Our tribes find each other.
That is cool.
And so if you want to back up and give any more context.
Well, just a little bit, like, the Metal Cowboy thing, when I heard that, it was funny to me because when you see somebody who travels on a bicycle, you kind of do look like a cowboy on a horse, but it is a bike. You've got the little saddlebags.
That's it. And that's what the blind old rancher was feeling. He felt that, the asphalt was my dusty trail, and the bike was my metal steed. And I took it for that. I really and I embraced that name, and it's been all over the world. It's had lots of. It's been better. The bike's been very good to me.
And I think that there's context there too, because the reason I wanted to touch on just a bit of your backstory is to get to 250,000 miles is wild. Like, so to keep myself afloat, I bare minimum 150 miles a month on my bike. It's really only 6 miles a day.
Right. Now, I had no car for 11 years raising my kids.
Okay.
My wife had a car, but I exclusively rode everywhere on a tandem with a trailer bike. I took my kids to school, grocery store, everywhere. So my days were spent, I did 30, 40 miles a day.
Mm-hmm. Which that'll get you going real quick.
That'll get you going real quick. And then because I was speaking all over the country, everywhere I went, there was a bike ride that I was associated with. So I'd ride that ride, and so it was a crazy amount. I mean, when you've done 7 different trips across the United States, all the way down through South America, across Australia, New Zealand, the miles add up.
Oh, yeah. And you're not just doing this by yourself. At the beginning, yeah, but you do this with your children.
Well, I did. Now they're grown up.
But they were not grown when you did it.
No, I have a 16-year-old now, and he wants to go on another ride. And what's really cool is my boys that are grown now, neither of them own a car. They take mass transit in New York City. One's a famous skateboarder in Thrasher magazine and all that. And he said the wheels, all the travel and all the wheels really got him started that way. And one of my other sons, the oldest one, who speaks a bunch of languages, and he's here for the summer, and he comes back periodically and just works for me. Loves the bicycle. And none of it was like forced on them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe it was a little, but
when you're on a massive ride and there's no other option.
I guess that's a lie.
But
that's a lie.
But they're enjoying it along
they
the
didn't
way.
turn it away.
It wasn't something they were soured by, or that you were pushing like a poison.
No, and when we rode across Canada on a triple tandem bike trailer, and we rode 3 boys, and the whole deal, it wasn't a Bataan death march, Drew. It was stopping and panning for gold and playgrounds and
awesome.
All the fun stuff. It was more of a vision quest for them, and
not a chore.
Not a chore. There was hail and there was rain and there was moments.
But those moments are the moments you remember. In the moment, you're like, oh, God, what am I doing? We're all going to freeze.
Exactly.
But those are the moments.
Right. And, you open up the Burley trailer, and he's got a garter snake and a bunch of rocks and a terrarium going on in there.
Yeah, he's living his life.
He's living his best life.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I got some advice, which I've heard before, but it was reiterated to me just yesterday from a friend of mine whose kids are all grown. And he's like, and, maybe I was whining about something like, there's always something to do.
Of course.
And I've got 3 kids, and they're all girls. And so it's just me and my wife and the 3 girls. So it's a lot of action. And he's like, you got to slow up and just enjoy this, because these are the golden moments. These are the best days of your life.
Well, I saw a statistic that said that once your children are out of the house and grown, you're going to only see them for the rest of their lives. You're going to see them for about a year and a half of time.
Yeah.
Where this time right now, Drew, is all the time.
It's all of it all the time.
And I think I'm very European in the sense that I don't need my kids to be away as adults. I mean, they're functioning and productive in society, but we go bowling, we have fun, we spend time, and I think it's because you can't invest the time later. You have to invest the time while they're young. And biking across continents with my dad's ashes and my 2 boys, and then my 3 boys, and then my 4 boys.
That's awesome.
That tends to be quality time.
Absolutely. And I come from 4 boys myself. My parents had 4 boys, and we're the same way. My dad's also European. He's from England, and we all live, except for one of us, we all live within 2 miles. We all have different careers, and there's from wildly successful to me, there's all kinds of stuff. But we are a tight-knit unit, and it's not like you need to go away from here. And just like you say, we're stronger together.
Well, I think it's not to get critical about our current society, but I think, at least in America, we tend to disperse ourselves at 18 or 20 with our family, and we live somewhat estranged from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't subscribe to that. I think it's look, you got a couple questions in life, and the big one for me is, are we going to love each other as a community, as individuals, as families, through and through?
Mm-hmm.
Not when it's convenient, not when it's comfortable, not when it feels good or it's at a wedding or a family reunion, but the ordinary, perfect days.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm all about making the best of the ordinary day.
It's all we really have. You get to the end of your life, if you haven't made the ordinary extraordinary, you were waiting for something else,
and you missed out on a lot.
You missed.
And here's a perfect example before we move on about that whole strength of family community. When I first moved back to Portland, I lived in Eugene, Oregon for 16 years, hosted a radio show there, got an opportunity up here, but moving from there to where I live now is a bit of a financial shift, as in like a landslide. You need a lot more money to live where I live now. So we made the decision to move in with my parents when I was 35 years old with a newborn. And my first kid, I hadn't lived at home since I was 18. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to be hell.
But you know what? In Europe, that wouldn't have been thought of
strange at all.
A second thought of it.
And you know what it led to? My firstborn child was potty trained in 18 months. She talked first. All of her functions were flying off the chart because she had 4 parents.
You had a support system there.
Yeah.
And also, I think the other part of we ask ourselves in life is most people don't stick around if they don't have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have community. We got to have a purpose. And a family is a purpose, and as the next generation, as grandparents and all, if they're just relegated to some sort of off to the side margin, they're not going to live as healthy either. So I would say, you're doing them a favor too.
Yeah.
Having them be active grandparents.
It's funny you say that because I really do think it helped them in that fashion. The only downside is when we mention the potty training, they like to raise their hand and take a lot of credit there. Say we're a community.
Yeah.
It's not just you.
Listen, I'm a fallen away Catholic with a lot of Buddhist tendencies. I and that ties into Reborn Bikes and Washco and our whole thing is I don't give a hoot about ego at this point or credit or what have you. I'm doing this to see how much I can complete the motion on the way out here the last 40 years. I'm not interested in photo ops or I have to raise money and do this. And we, it takes something other than rainbows and unicorns, but I'm here for the right reasons.
And I will attest to that because when you and I talked on the phone, and only a couple of my guests have been very clear about this when we got on the phone, is that, yeah, my accomplishments are great and that'll lead a horse to water. But you said straight up that I don't care about all that. I want to deliver the message about Reborn Bikes and what we're doing and the change that we're doing.
Right. And thanks for our segue here. We're ready to talk any questions you have about, Reborn Bikes and the larger idea of, shifting our society. Look, the car won a long time ago. And so my attitude was, we can build and work on and try and get the infrastructure. But if we don't flood the streets with bikes, if we don't have the next generation of kids getting off that Xbox carpal tunnel, setting the damn phone down and looking around from the saddle of a bike and having a childhood and having an adulthood, because we don't give bikes just to kids. We give bikes to the entire family. If a child is in need, a family is in need. Nobody lives in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. So when I started this, we were giving a few bikes away to schools and kids. And I realized pretty quickly on that we needed to be giving a whole lot more complete packages and to the whole family.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed straight away, because when I first spoke with another one of your board members, Mark, and he gave me your guys' card, I just immediately thought that it's bikes for kids, right? And so the more research that I did, I was like, wait, this is bikes for people in need.
We give bikes to the Ukrainian Foundation, the Catholic Charities, ERCO, Self-Enhancement, Inc., Easter Seals. I mean, it's 75 to 80 Title I schools now. We're doing a Juneteenth event down in Salem for the ASF CME union. We give bikes to churches, synagogues, exchange programs, veterans. I'll give a bike to the devil if he's behaving himself, if he has somebody that needs it.
Yeah.
So we're apolitical in that sense, and we're all about. It's not goodwill, Drew. It's not, hey, here's a bike that maybe works or maybe doesn't. We do a 16-point safety check on that bike. I have mechanics. I have an army of volunteers that get the bikes ready for the mechanics to go through the final steps. We clean those bikes. And I used to tell people, clean it like you were giving it to your brother and sister. And then I had somebody say, I don't want to clean a bike for my sister. I was like,
yeah,
I will give it.
They're the only ones who get the dirty bike and they tell you to deal.
I said, why don't you clean it like for somebody that you care about?
Mm-hmm. Let's just say my brother is also my dentist, and the care for others is different than the care for your brother. You watch the fish hook when it's your own brother. So it's in love, right? But I think changing it to clean it like you'd clean for someone else.
Yeah, you care about. So they get a bike, but they don't just get a bike. They get a helmet, a lock, a light, a vest, cool. Safety training and skills at our big bike festivals. It's a 9-station festival.
Mm-hmm. And I want to walk through a little bit about how this came about and kind of like where the idea started and where it's headed.
Sure.
The Fit for Radio podcast is brought to you by Motorsport Hillsboro. where they have the best selection for everything off-road in your life. And one thing I'd love to showcase right now is the electric mountain bikes down there. The Gas G-Lite Trail 2.0 is the one that I've had my eyes on. I actually went down there and rode it around a little bit, and it's like a kid in a candy store, and they bought up the inventory to make sure they could pass those savings right on to you. Over $5,000 value for just $21.99, up to 60% off of these bikes, $3,000 off MSRP. No slouch there, as you can get on one while supplies last. So head into Motorsport Hillsboro today. You don't want to miss out, because the sunnier it gets, the nicer it gets, the less inventory that's going to be there. So get there today. Check out the full supply at motorsporthillsboro.com. The hardest place you'll love to find. Because it's one of those things where, it's terrible that you got sick and that you had to go through all that stuff, but it's almost like I don't know if you call it a wake-up call, or if it's just kind of like a little shake that time is not forever.
Well, you have your second birthday in life, if you're lucky, when you realize that the Buddha statement, the problem is you think you have time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best thing. I was already altruistic and on boards, but I needed the reset. Was really beautiful.
Yeah,
because it was a country music song. I lost everything basically. My marriage ended. I almost lost my life, and it was a really opportune time to reboot.
And I gotta say, before we go into it, is I understand that on such a level. So like when I was in my 20s, I got like a mystery illness, and I was sick for 3 years. I joke with people, I call it the 1,000 days of sadness, because nobody knew what was wrong with me. And so every day I'd go to a different doctor's appointment, and then I'd come home all bummed, and Amy would be like,
we lived a mirrored life. I had that for about a year.
And so my wife would be like, why are you so bummed? I'm like, I just got my test results, and I don't have Crohn's. Right. Like I wanted a disease.
I called it the phantom menace. It wasn't the hemochromatosis that took me down. I did great with that. I would ride my bike. I was coaching volleyball during all that. It made me immune suppressed, and a meningitis of sorts got in. Closed up my throat.
Oh, no.
Made me have to eat. I lost 40 pounds. I was in and out of the hospital, and they couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing worse than you want to know who you're fighting.
Mm-hmm. So that you have a fighting chance.
Right.
It's like me swinging my arms in the dark is what it felt like.
Amen, brother. I know. And once I was able to come out the other side.
It's like an awakening.
Well, the rest of it, Drew, is just I'm playing with the house money.
Yep.
This is all a game to me. The reason I've been able to build up Reborn bikes and I say I have an army of amazing people that have gotten behind what I've believe in and try to do. And but the reason I'm able to just hang fire is because you're dead either way, brother.
Yeah. And you were dead. Like in your mind, you're like, I'm done. And then you're not. And so there's this new thing. And when I came out of mine, and mine ended up being simpler than yours, but just as hard to find, there was a hernia inside the sphincter that closes your stomach, not on the wall. Yep. But what it did is it ruined the ecosystem, and it kept dumping acid into me.
A hiatal hernia?
Hiatal hernia. And so I have a surgery now that tied that off, and there's a whole story about a miracle doctor. And basically, it gave me a second lease on life, and I chose then that I wasn't going to waste it.
Amen. And, it's not like dodging a car accident or some, that little, it'll make me awake for 2 weeks. I was changed on a molecular level.
Yep.
It's all bonus time for me, and I'm having a blast. And I don't, one of my sons said to me, we walked into one of our 7 warehouses, and there was just an airplane hangar worth of bikes. And they're just, I understand why you're so chill. You got all the bikes. And I said, they're not my bikes. He goes, yeah, but you get to touch each one. They pass through you. And I said, well, maybe that's a little, but it also is that I'm carrying the water, and I'm chopping the wood, and the gift in life. I never was materialist. All I needed was a bike and and some journals and open road and some tasty waves, as Sean Penn said in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes.
But you know, you have a family, you get barreled down in a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a real nice reset.
Yeah. And then you really kind of took off. What made you decide that this was your calling out of, I mean, you were already the bike guy.
I was the bike guy, and I had that national platform. And so I decided, you know, let's see how we can take one thing and go as wide and deep as possible with that thing. And also just, I don't lead with how much money can we raise to build an infrastructure that is just going to need to prepare. It's all about the end game. What are we delivering?
Maximizing the output.
Maximizing the output and maximizing the impact, and real impact. Not when cameras are rolling, not when I'm doing a podcast, but putting myself out there and convincing other people to do the same. And we've been able to build from a shop and a program out in Washington County to which continues to grow. I want to point that out. I'm the director of Washco Bikes as well. It's part of the larger ecosystem. And we have programs at the German International School now. We have 7 different warehouses. We have summer camps for kids on bikes. We teach classes and clinics. And, you know, I can name so many groups. We have the Rotarians and the Kiwanians and the National League of Young Men and the Rotaracts and the school groups and the boys clubs and the LDS. And it just goes on of people that, and the way we do it, I really maximize efficiency. We'll come out to an event, and maybe I'm getting ahead of us.
No, this is all interesting.
We come out and we schedule a bike festival, and the school, we bring out 50 or 80 bikes, depending on the size of the festival. We bring out helmets, bring out locks, bring out lights. That truck gets unloaded, and then the truck's parked, and it has a sign on it that says Station 2. That's where you donate. Everybody brings in the bikes that they've outused and outgrown.
Okay.
And those get paid forward to the next event. So at the very same event that we're giving out 80 bikes, sometimes we get 65 bikes back in.
So you're recycling the whole system at the event.
At the event, you're getting bikes, and then other members in communities that don't need bikes but have bikes sitting. There's 106 million bikes sitting in garages, and only 53 million of them are being ridden on a regular basis.
See, I got to come to one of these events and just get some eyes on this.
You really do. You got to, because it's amazing. We've got the pump tracks and the bubble pop and the slow races and all the skills obstacle course setup. You come through the tables, you're getting your helmets, your locks, your lights, your swag, you're spinning the wheels, you're doing all of that. Then you go over to the fitting station where the bikes are all laid out by size, and you're getting fit. We want to make sure you're on the balls of your feet, your hand. You know, it's not, hey, here's a bike, good luck. We're really doing, we teach them hand signals. We put proper helmet fittings. We've worked with the hospitals. So
they're safe and ready to go.
All safe and ready to go. And we have a repair station, Station 3. We call it the magic carpets. We lay the carpets out. We have the bike repair with my mechanics.
So if somebody has a bike, but it's not working efficiently?
Exactly, Drew.
Okay.
They bring their bikes in from their garages that may have light repair that needs to be done that day. Now, at Station 2, I've taught all of my volunteers and staff to ask if someone's bringing a bike up. We say, are you giving us this? Is you outgrown or outused this, or do you need it repaired?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to take someone's bike that they
might still want.
The whole idea is to get as many people on bikes riding safely and
not take this from you and give it to them.
Somebody else.
Yeah,
right.
That doesn't change the number.
Exactly. So we have that, and we get people like, oh yeah, if I could get this fixed, I'd keep riding it.
Yeah. So
we move them to that station.
So is that the last station then? And
no, the last station is after they do the obstacle courses and the safety gardens and the games and what have you. And sometimes there's an art demo where they're putting cards in their spokes and drawing pictures and doing bike games, bike art. The last station, which sometimes we have the capacity for it and sometimes we don't because of the community, we do a group ride. And what we do is we leave it every half an hour or so. And what we've done is we've set it up with the local school people, and we found the routes from the school to the library, to their grocery stores, to wherever, that keep them off the busier roads.
Nice. So it's safe, but it's a fun community ride.
We're trying to teach them. It's a short ride, 10 or 15 minutes, but it just shows them these are the best routes from your school. Because I testified down in Salem at one time, and they asked me, how far should infrastructure go from a school or a hospital into the community? I said, you're asking me the wrong question. The question is, how do you find the money to have infrastructure go the entire way?
Yeah.
Because you don't ride 1,500 yards away from a school or 1,000 yards away from a school, and then some alien picks you up and carries you safely home.
Yeah.
So if you don't have infrastructure all the way, you're throwing everybody to the wolves.
Yeah, we don't park it and walk the rest of the way. I mean, you got to get me from A to B.
It's not Aboriginals in the outback. Just toss the bike aside and start walking.
Get going. So in the beginning, because now you have this all set up where you have a great little ecosystem where it's kind of feeding itself. In the beginning, how did you get the bikes? Because now asking for donations or whatever is one thing, but
I put it all to work. I asked the public. I talked to bike shops. I talked to the police. I talked to the big breakthrough was with Ridwell, that they worked with us to get bikes out of people's garages that weren't being used, and bike parts. And the other big one was Metro. I put together, it took about 3 years, but I put together a deal where we get bikes from the transfer station, Drew. That's the dump.
Okay.
And they pull them out before they ever go in to the stream.
So they have an eye out.
Well, I've taught their staff, and we work together, that they pull out the bikes, they put them in a tent on site, and we come around every 2 weeks with trucks. And on location, we strip bikes. My volunteers and staff will strip bikes right at the location. So I don't want to take bikes away that we're just going to have to bring back.
Yeah.
The frames.
So you kind of assess it on scene.
We have, and they've assessed it for us too, because one of the other things we don't want to do is over 20-inch bikes, when they start getting geared and whatnot. If we're taking bikes that are, I call them structures, that are very entry-level department store bikes with fake shocks, and they weigh more than all of your regrets, and we give a 65-pound bike to a 55-pound kid,
it's not going to be a good deal.
They're going to think they're not a good ride. They don't know how to cycle. So what we do is we strip those bikes for all the parts, the wheels, the kickstand, the grip shifters, the whatever we can take, and we put them on better bikes.
So you're maximizing what you can get from that bike without putting somebody in a situation where they have a 900-pound bike.
That's right. And we're trying to make cyclists, not people that give me a car now. And so we have that. And we also have deals with Trek is a huge and great partner of ours. They have a program where people donate, drop off their previously, sometimes very lightly used bikes, and Trek gives them a deal, a percentage for the next bike. And they're not in the used bike business. So they get the tax write-off giving the bikes to us, and we turn around and give those bikes to the program.
Oh, that's great. And what I love about this so much is, I love a lot about it, but, my girls, they have bikes, but when they were younger, I kind of had them loitering in the little bike longer than they should have, and now once I saw them on a mountain bike, I was like, oh, I probably should have got that going a little earlier. But the reason I bring it up is, even though they were on some ET rider, when they got those bikes, it was like Santa Claus was here.
It is.
It is pure joy.
There is so much joy in my job at these, and at these events. I can't always be at all of them, but I'm very hands-on. I don't have an office. I have offices in all my warehouses. I didn't create this thing to create another entity that's not going to have impact. If it doesn't have impact, I don't, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't want, and this is not to criticize any specific nonprofits or any specific social service organizations, but if you're perpetuating yourself to perpetuate yourself, and 5 or 10% of your energies are going to the chopping the wood and carrying the water, then I don't want anything to do with that. I want us to do the good work while we're here. And speaking of Santa Claus, we were out in Hillsborough at an event at Minter Bridge, and a lot of times the families come in and they think we're just getting bikes for the kids. And when they find out that there's a bike for them and there's helmets for them, I had one woman say, I haven't felt like this since I was a kid on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me is just pure vida. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
My wife and I were out on a trail ride out at Banks for Nonia, and we saw a whole family, and she'd been at the event. Kate had been at the event where we gave this family their helmets and their locks and their lights. And she said, oh, you want to talk to them? I said, no. I want them to just
feel it,
enjoy it. It's enough for me to know that we played a role.
Because the fact that you hook up the adults on two levels, it's got me. The first is the parent. The parent is, if they can't afford bikes, we'll just put it there first. If you can't afford
100%.
bikes, you're going to, if you're a great parent, the first bike you're going to buy is for your kid, long before yourself.
100%. But the thing is, if you have a bike, the buy-in is just so much better.
Then you go together.
They go together and they can ride.
Bond. There's
quality time. Hey, let's take our bikes out to the library. Let's take our bikes to the Sun program. Let's take our bikes to wherever, karate or whatever you need to do. Or let's just take our bikes on the Springwater Corridor for a ride, or the Banks for Nonia.
Yeah.
And I see that, and it's lovely. We give trailer bikes out so that the other thing we do, Drew, is we make sure that we're very anti-kickstand. I'm not kickstand, anti-training wheels.
Okay, I was going to say no kicks.
No, we love the kickstand. I misspoke.
Anti-training wheel.
It's not that they're the devil, but they are a crutch.
They slow you down. It's like a binky in your mouth. Like you don't need that.
It's time to let that go. We tell everybody at our events, take them out on the grass, momentum, balance.
Put a little speed on it, you'll be all right.
And speed.
And that's the key right there. And the other thing I was thinking about is with the parent, not the parent, the adult, is of course the parent's not going to want the bike before their kid, so they might never even buy it. So you kind of bridge that gap. There's also the person who can't afford a car, and so they have to commute.
Yes, we are third shift folks. We are car replacement and reduction.
Because a person can still get to work, they can still function, they can get to the store.
We that's one of the things we push when we're at our events. We say, hey, do you need a bike to get to work? Do you need a bike to get to school? You need a bike just to be with your family. And we give so many more bikes away like that. And so what we do with these events is we bring out a percentage of, we know what the school makeup is. And sometimes we know that we're going to bring out more kids' bikes. But at our community events, school events, we always bring out 25% of adult bikes, or 30% of adult bikes, 30% of medium-sized bikes, and 30%.
So, and now granted, you guys give away a ton of bikes, so maybe you've passed this now. So let me know if I'm barking up the wrong tree. But there's that situation where you have one of these events, and there's a bunch of people who show up, and you don't necessarily have the bikes to service all the people.
We don't a lot of times. The demand is amazing. But what we do is we pay them on to the next event.
So you kind of
used to have them come to our warehouses, but it was just
it's a lot.
It was too much logistics to figure out. And because we're doing 2 events a week, is what it averages out to. There's always another event for folks to come out to.
So you guys are doing like 100 events a year?
105 last year.
That's impressive.
Some of them are on the same day. Some of them are at the same location. We did 6 Rotary clubs in Wilsonville, came out, and we were doing 2 events in the same parking lot. We had a big old parking lot set up with, on one side of the parking lot was the bike festival. People are coming and getting we gave 84 bikes away that day. again, their helmets, their locks, and all. And the other side of the parking lot, we had brought a truck full of dirty bikes from Metro. So we don't even have to unload them more than once. The volunteers, all the Rotarians cleaned the bikes. We set up the cleaning stations right there in the parking lot.
Oh, and you just had a little assembly line, pop, pop,
and
pop.
they cleaned 90 bikes.
Nice.
And we do this with corporations, ASML, Genetech, Home Depot, that you name it. We do these. We bring them to you, or they come to our warehouses, and they'll. It's an in-service for them. It's a volunteer and a group activity.
That's impressive.
And so that you were asking me how we've built it up. We built it up by, force of personality. I go out and just hit the streets and talk with folks. And if they get behind what we do, the other part we try and do, Drew, is deliver. We under-promise and over-deliver.
And that's the key right there. If you're like, we got all this, and then you don't, it's more of like a want. But
right.
If you're like, hey, we can do this much, and then all of a sudden you come over the top, there's a little of that Santa Claus.
That's right. And when you see it out there, it's just impressive to pull up to a school that has all this going on, and just the number of bikes in the parking lot at each of these events. Some organizations give 300 bikes away a year. We give 300 bikes away in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you can see why it's contagious, the volunteering and the helping part. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm like, I got to get out there. I got to get out there.
100%, because it's a lot of times when you do community service, you don't get to see the end result.
Mm-hmm.
If you come in and clean these bikes, and then you come to one of our events, you're like, oh, this is the circle. This closes it.
Yeah.
It's like building a well in Africa and then seeing the people getting the water.
Yeah. The Fit for Radio podcast brought to you by Motorsport Hillsboro, and I've been talking about their electric mountain bikes that are so legit. If you want to get on one today, there's never going to be a better price. It's right now $2,199. That's $3,000 off of the Gas G Light Trail 2.0, and it's for the person who wants to get out and actually hit the trails. You'll go places you never thought you could get to, and if you're like me, where you're getting a little bit older and you still want to go shred it up, that electric assist is exactly what you need. Lightweight frame, powerful motor, and built for the trails. They bought up the inventory to bring the savings to you. MotorsportHillsboro.com, the hardest place you'll love to find. Also brought to you by the Stafford Hills Club. I talk about it all the time, and it's one of the easiest things for me to speak on. They've got an amazing saltwater pool, the grill opening shortly here. The classes, my wife loves the classes, and it gives her a little bit of a break and a reprieve from her duties as a mother. Let's be honest, we all get a little burnout. We get a little tired from time to time, so the kids club, a chance to work on yourself and maybe just relax and have a coffee over by the fireplace in the cafe. It's all got something for everyone. Also a premier tennis facility. Check them out today, staffordhills.com, and tell them that Drew sent you for half off of your initiation. So I guess my question for a guy who's done so well at this, you've been very successful in all the things you've done throughout your life. How do we keep the ball rolling here? And what's next for Reborn Bikes?
Well, anybody who wants to do this around the country, please come and talk to us, but we're not going around the country. We're associated and affiliated with Free Bikes for Kids as one of our coalition partners, and we give away the most bikes within that network. But there are other places that can do it. I'm not at 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I may still look it.
Yeah, you still got it.
But we want to make this the best organization in the Pacific Northwest, and Oregon specifically, maybe Southern Washington. And so what we need is time and treasure from people. We need more groups that want to volunteer. If your business wants to come out, we've had environmental studies organizations and consultants and wealth advisors and anybody else that wants to bring their corporation or their business out to one of our cleanings and one of our events. We've got opportunities in all our warehouses for events and things like that. What we got to keep doing is just bringing the bikes in and putting the bikes back out, creating the advocacy and education and the programs. But, I want to level it off. I don't want you to come to me in 2 years and say, oh, you're doing 30,000 bikes now. At a certain point, we want to do it as well as we're doing it now.
Yeah, and not make it big, but not what it is.
That's right, because that defeats the whole, my personal outlook is how do we have the largest impact while still being meaningful.
Doing it the right way. Now,
That's
I
right.
saw that people who want to get on board, because I'm all motivated now, if they go to rebornbikes.org, I saw you have a thing you can click right there to volunteer and join the
Correct.
team here. I mentioned it a little bit, but when I met one of your colleagues, Mark, it's funny because I was talking about the podcast and he just overheard us and he handed me the card and he had like the passion in his face about it, and I was like, huh. And so
let me just say briefly I want to say a few words about Mark. Mark and I are kindred spirits, and we have a number of folks on our board now like that. But Mark and I took it to the next level. He was working with Free Bikes for Kids. I was working with Washco. We Marvel Twins.
Yeah, went Captain
up.
Planet a little bit.
Right, we went Captain Planet, and the next thing you know, we had built this up to Reborn Bikes, giving 5,000-6,000 bikes away a year, and it's just grown since because we both have the passion. We're both Buddhists. We're both go-getters, and we between his network of folks and my network of folks, it was just release the hounds, man.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely are making a difference. I'm super impressed with it. I stress that people should get out there and get themselves into the volunteer situation here, and so you can see it firsthand yourself.
Yes, and you can go right to our website. You don't have to even sign up. You can come to the days that our warehouses are open. There's an open drop-in volunteering, and then you get all your, we have a warehouse on Oregon Street right down near Benson.
Okay.
At the Bakery Block buildings. We have one in West Lynn. We have one out in Forest Grove and in Hillsboro. We have one in Wilsonville that's not operational for cleaning yet, but it's storage. But we're growing these warehouses, and just so everybody doesn't think that I'm a warehouse tycoon, we work with the commercial real estate market that's had seen better days. We work with them to get them some property tax abatement and some tax abatement on their fair market rent.
So you found a creative way to get it done. You're not just dropping billions on.
No, we couldn't we are the little engine that could. We are not, we don't own all these warehouses. We're working with so if you have a warehouse out there, come talk to me.
Yeah, we can help you with those taxes.
We can help you with some of that.
Now, that is so great. Now, I'm just trying to think about other people in other states. And I think if they get a chance to listen to this podcast or they get past your organization, they should use, now granted, you're scaled here in the Oregon area.
It will work in many ways in a lot of places.
I just think they need to take the blueprint because really your goal is to get the most people on bikes possible.
Safely and
the right
consistently.
way. And
Correct.
So you're in charge of that here. You don't have the infrastructure or the time and energy to do the entire country, but I just would urge people who have the drive to put it in other places because it seems like magic.
Call me up.
And pick your brain about it.
My phone number is everywhere. It's all over the website. It's everywhere. Call me directly and we'll have a chat. I'm happy to I've had people come out and tour our facilities from Detroit, from Chicago, from North Carolina, because, we've kind of found a formula that works. And it doesn't have to be one size fits all, but you can pick and choose some ideas from it.
It seems like, and the way that you kind of recycle the bikes and people they take them when they need them and bring them back when they don't.
They do, and because we do the schools over and over, year in, year out, in different programs, they know to bring the other ones back in. We're keeping 96,000 tons of CO2 out of the atmosphere.
That's awesome.
Annually.
Mm-hmm.
We are upcycling and green cycling. I'm not interested, and I'm sure there's other groups out there that would say, well, why aren't we giving these kids brand new bikes? Well, because we have all this stuff. America's just a throwaway, disposable society, and I'm pushing against that.
A refurbished bike is just as good.
Oh, you will not believe when you come out some of these bikes that, they'll say, is this the test bike? Because we're giving them Specialized and Treks and Marins and Giants and Diamondbacks. And so I want to disperse the idea that it's a new to them bike, but it's also ready to go.
Yeah, and you even put a nice little bit of chain oil on there and the whole deal, and they're flying.
They're good to go, and any bike that the other thing we do is if a bike gets sent out and it has a problem, they can bring them back to our warehouse.
See, that's awesome.
And because we do repairs, we do, and full transparency, we take about 10% of the 14,000 bikes we get a year, and we sell them at a deep discount at our warehouse retails, just like St. Vincent de Paul or Habitat has the restores. We do that. It does not pay for our program. It helps subsidize,
alleviate some of the costs, because there is costs associated. You have to keep the lights on. You have to have gas in the trucks.
I have staff. I have insurances. I have all matter of costs.
Nothing is free, unless you're hooking up a bike.
That's right.
Which, and I think that makes total sense. And it also is a luxury for people who don't feel like they're in a situation where they can step in front of someone else and get a free bike, but maybe they're financially hard up and it'd be better to go buy a bike from you.
Well, when you're buying a bike from us, you're getting $500 bikes for $100.
That's amazing.
And so a lot of times we'll have people at our festivals that say, I don't need a free bike, but I would love to get a bike affordably. And we're like, here's our locations, here's our hours of operation.
That's awesome.
And I want to say to everybody within the state of Oregon, you can donate your bikes to us. You can bring it to any Trek store. You can bring it to any of our warehouses. And you can also call us and we come out and pick up bikes.
Nice. Well, so that's cool to know the Trek stores will take the bikes as well, because you can find those all over.
We come around and
swoop them up.
And pick them up every week or two.
That is awesome. Well, I cannot stress how much I've enjoyed this conversation, Joe. And a little cool side note, we just kind of brushed over all your accomplishments as you asked. But, you are a great writer, highly acclaimed, and now one of your books is getting a cool thing. Are they making a movie out of one of your books?
They're optioned. It's nothing's done in Hollywood till it's done. But yes, I've had a couple of my books optioned, but this one, Lightning in a Saddle, is not about me in any way. It's not one of my memoirs. It's about this cool 1920s, 30s British femme fatale. I call her female Jackie Robinson of the bike world. So it's real Seabiscuit. She's racing against the men, and they're not allowing her to race and her times to matter.
Oh, that's cool.
And she ends up fighting for a country that won't let her race in the Tour de France. It goes from Seabiscuit to Inglorious Bastard. She becomes a spy for the French resistance.
Oh, cool.
And she, lives and loves and rides on her own terms during a time when it was dangerous to do so. She also fights actual Nazis. And this is all true, Drew. I did all the research. And what was amazing was, if I had not lived, I was in the middle of all the research when I got sick.
Oh, man, it would have never come out.
Evelyn Hamilton would have died twice.
Oh, man.
But I was able to, pace her across the finish line of history. And the book's called Lightning in a Saddle, The Long Untamed Life of Evelyn Hamilton. And what's really cool, if and when the movie gets finished, is that there's Plath British newsreels and there's all kinds of stuff with her that it was going to fall into the sands of time. And we pulled it all out. We've archived. We got at the end credits of the movie, you're going to go, this is all BS. There's no way that she did all of this. And, and then you're going to actually see the real, in addition to the actress. I love those kind of end credits where they have actual film.
And you can see.
Yeah, next to.
So if now sometimes a project like this are better with like a no-name actress, but do you have somebody in mind?
Well, the woman from Orphan Black, if anybody saw that, she played 7 different clones, and she's Romanian, but she grew up in England. So
she can do the accent.
She can do the accent. She has the athleticism, because whoever plays Evelyn Hamilton will have to be, it can't be somebody that doesn't look that isn't an athlete. Because
Yeah, you got to look the part.
this isn't like cycling is an afterthought in this movie.
It's going down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to look the part, you know.
Well, I'm excited for it. I'm excited. I want to read the book now.
Yeah, you can get it. We're actually going to put it out because it was supposed to come out during COVID with my traditional publisher. We're going to put it out under Reborn Bikes Press and make it a fundraiser for our organization.
Okay, well, then I'm buying the book.
And so it's in galleys right now and getting ready to head to press.
I'm excited. That's going to be great. And just a couple of things to run back for people. If you want to volunteer with Reborn Bikes, rebornbikes.org, you can click to volunteer, or you can look at the events, show up, or you can show up at the warehouse. There are volunteer hours there as well.
Phone numbers on the website. You can call if any of it's confusing or just want to volunteer in a different way or with a group or what have you. Just call me.
Yeah, and they say some people hate the saying everything happens for a reason, but there's a reason that you survived that sickness, and maybe even a reason it happened in the first place, because it gave you a little reset button that has put so many bikes in so many people's hands that have made happiness happen. And cheers to you for doing that.
Well, thank you, my friend. I think everything happens, and it's how you go forward with it that makes a difference. Also, if you've got, I hope to, in the end, run out of time before I run out of passion and projects. Ursula Le Guin once told me that. The writer, Ursula Le Guin, said, it's best not to have time left over without things to do.
Well, one thing that I can say for sure, Joe, just in our short time here, is you do have the passion, and we never know how much time we have. You and I both understand that, but I think your passion will outlast the time. Let's just hope it's a long time.
Well, I plan on being the last werewolf. I'm going to be here as long as I can to as long as it's joyful and as long as I'm loving my community and my folks through and through.
I love it. His name is Joe Kurmaskie, and he is the guy when it comes to Reborn Bikes and the rest of his team. Thank you to them, and thank you to the Stafford Hills Club for having us today. Hit them up, staffordhills.com, if you want to get a membership. Tell them Drew sent you for half off your initiation. Thanks, Joe. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Drew.
Cheers.